This is Eye on the Community, and I'm your host, Sean Anthony. Joining me next is Miss Leah Evans, who is the new president and CEO of Homeport. I want to welcome for the first time to Eye on the Community. Miss Evans, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Sean. I'm excited to be here.
First of all, congratulations on your new position, becoming president and CEO. I understand the announcement just happened at the beginning of the year. So tell me
Yeah.
about that journey with Homeport. You've been with them for about 8 years or so, right?
Yeah. So it's just, it's still new. It's still fresh and new. We're still in this honeymoon phase with me on the org, but I've been with HomePort for about 8 years. I have a master's in city and regional planning. So my background is community development, urban planning, that kind of work. I previously had worked for the city of Gahanna. And before that, I worked for the Ohio Department of Development. So really, it's been a majority of my career in government and in economic development. So I did a lot with businesses locating throughout the state, tax credit work, loans, that kind of thing. And then went to Gahanna, really working on our planning, some of the corridor development you see along Hamilton, code enforcement, as well as economic development. So it all kind of came together when I came to Homeport and started to work on housing. That was the piece that, and when I first graduated, I thought I'd be working in housing. I thought I'd go to work for HUD and wear, federal black and march in as we're here from the government and we're here to help you. But I moved away from housing over the years and then came back to it because I do think that it is the most crucial and important piece in building strong, vibrant, healthy communities.
It's interesting that you say that, Miss Evans. I just had an opportunity to speak to the mayor last week and interviewed him, and I asked him about affordable housing. It's a hot topic right
It
now.
is.
So why is affordable housing so important?
Because we all need it, right? So again, I'm a Cleveland girl, so I'll tell you what's affordable to LeBron isn't affordable to me. But what that means is that we're all looking for a level of stability and security in our housing. So whatever that level is, so we at Homeport focus on those with more limited resources, but across the housing spectrum, we're all seeking the right mix of housing, the right type of housing that's going to be feasible for our personal budget. And I think we as a community, as we have seen the pressures. So let's break that down a little bit. Here in Central Ohio, we're growing. We're leading our whole state in growth here in Central Ohio. And over the past 10 years or so, for every one new house build, there were 3 new households in need of that house. So you have a classic supply and demand problem that we're experiencing right now, where we just do not have the supply to meet demand. And so costs are escalating at such a rate that you just can't keep up as a traditional middle class, middle income family cannot obtain housing in this market. And so then you think down the spectrum of persons with less resources and less income, there's even more constraints. So that's where you hear us often talk about 54,000 households. Those are 54,000 of the most extreme need, because those are households with the least resources paying more than 50% of their income for housing. And I know you've talked to Layden from our team, and he'll tell you when you're thinking about your budget, when you start spending more than 50% of your income for housing, that really puts pressure on the rest of your income to pay for childcare, transportation, medical, food, all of those other things that you're trying to take care of to live your life.
Now, you spoke on some of the challenges that people are facing, especially working class people in Central Ohio. Tell us about the recent successes that you guys had.
Yeah, so we're always working, right? So we're celebrating our 35th year this year, and we want to be as true to our mission now as we were then, which is building strong communities through affordable housing and supporting people through that housing. And so we recently opened our Leahs Place project, which is on Cleveland Avenue. If you're familiar with Linden, the North Linden area, it's right across the street from New Salem Missionary Baptist Church. They were a great partner as we brought that project together, as well as Mount Lebanon Church, which is just to the other side of the property, and the North Linden Area Commission. We really worked collectively with the community on that project. What was formerly there were 2 smaller vacant apartment buildings, a duplex, and then 2 vacant lots. And so now you see a 3-story, 45 apartment building that's sitting there, that's really additive to the community, that fits in with the landscape and brought this affordable housing aspect to the community. And so really excited to bring it on. Really love that it was on the CMAX line. So it's on available and regular public transit service. And it's really well connected. So you can pretty much get anywhere you need to get from that corridor. And we know the Cleveland Avenue corridor is going through a revitalization now too.
Yeah, you mentioned the Linden area. Talk about the downtown Linden. From my
Yeah.
understanding, is it Mulvey Place?
Yeah, so that was
What's that
last week's
about?
big thing. We got to celebrate the groundbreaking of Melbourne Place, which is 100 affordable senior apartment homes. So even as our population is growing, as you can imagine, our senior population is growing. So as we continue to grow over the next 10 to 20 years, we're seeing a continued increase in that baby boomer population. About 20% of our million people that we're expecting by 2050 will be in that aging population, along with the senior population we already have. So thought it was really important to bring senior affordable housing because again, our seniors tend to be transitioning into a fixed income. So they have the least ability to flex if their housing expenses go up. And of course, they have other things they're trying to cover, like medical expenses that they're trying to cover with their income. So seniors being a key asset and important value to our community, as well as the fabric and history of our community, we thought it was important to bring a senior project forward, allow seniors in the Linden community to stay in the Linden community. There's been some research at the state level that in tax credit projects, like the projects that we do, people typically, majority of people come from within 5 miles of that existing project. So we generally will house people that already are living in the community and are looking to transition into some different type of housing or be able to access affordable housing. So Mulvey Place is going to be great. It's 100 affordable apartment homes. There also will be 3,000 square feet of commercial space in that building. And it's been a great partnership with Columbus Next Gen and the North Linden community. It really follows the One Linden plan that the community put together a few years ago and really brings to life the work the community did through that plan.
Excellent. That sounds awesome. There's another development called Easton Place.
Oh,
It's a
yes.
commercial area,
Mhm.
and from my understanding, you got some growth in that area as well, right?
Yeah. So now that's a whole different part of the work, right?
Right.
So I think that's one thing I think I do love about our work at Homeport is that we're really focused on the place, not just what project we want to bring forward, right? So we try to work with the community and identify where housing is needed. And we had an opportunity to work with the partners at Georgetown. So if you're in Columbus, then you're obviously familiar with Easton and the tremendous amount of a business and economic development engine that is from retail, commercial, office, services. It's just a tremendous boon to our community. Well, housing wise, as they continue to grow and look at that next generation of investments at Easton, we had the opportunity to partner with them to bring affordable housing and really identify that there are thousands of jobs within a less than a mile radius that can take advantage of our housing based on income. And we're going to be doing we're going to try to get up to 200 affordable apartment homes there. We already have 150 of those funded and they'll start later this spring. And then we're working on getting the last 50 funded and committed as well so we can move those forward. But know that it'll be truly additive to what already exists there and continue to build on the great success of Easton.
While we're in that area, let's go to the northeast side up a little bit more. The American Edition
Yeah.
project off of Joyce Avenue. Go ahead and expand on that, please.
Yeah. So again, I think it speaks to being the partner that the community wants to see and that the community needs in all areas, because we also do single family homes, and that's not common for developers that do tax credit and rental housing. We also have been, for over 20 years building single family homes and advancing affordable home ownership. So through the work that, again, Layden, who's worked with you before, our Housing Advisory Center does on the counseling side, we also do work on the development side to build single family homes. And so in American Edition, about 16, 17 years ago, that leaders in that community came to us and asked us to really partner with them to build out the housing in this historically African-American neighborhood off Joyce Avenue that had seen disinvestment. The housing stock had unfortunately started to just go away. It wasn't sustainable long-term. So there were about 30 some odd homes left at that point. And they were looking as a community to see new homes being built to this neighborhood that has about 200 parcels laid out. So it was laid out to accommodate a lot more homes and families than were existing there at that time. So we've been working with them since then. We've built and sold about 40 homes there. and continue to look to work with them going forward on new partnerships that's going to continue to bring homes. And recently they celebrated having some new economic development projects announced there. Rumpke is going to be building a multi-million dollar facility, the next generation of sustainable development facility next door that's going to be, again, additive to that Joyce Avenue corridor, bringing jobs, bringing investment, and allowing us to continue to build those homes.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm just curious before we conclude, how do you guys select each side of town that you're going to work on?
Yeah, so that's really led by what our people need, right? So
Okay.
residents are looking for housing opportunities throughout Central Ohio. That's one of the reasons we've been thoughtful about even growing our footprint and growing even beyond Franklin County, is that affordable housing is needed everywhere. This housing is the housing of workforce. So wherever there's jobs, there needs to be housing, and there needs to be accessible, affordable housing at multiple income levels. And so we've been really always been attuned to what is going on at the resident level. So where our residents want to be, at the government level, where are there investments that the public is making in certain spaces? And then what is the business community doing, and where can we come alongside that with housing needs? We were founded as a public-private partnership. The religious community was at the table, the government was at the table, our businesses were at the table. So really it's additive, and continuing to build a strong community is making sure that there is housing and different types of housing in multiple spaces. So we're not limited on where we'll go. So you got an idea or a site or land we should look at, you should let us know, because we're really open to looking at where housing needs to be, is where people want to be.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. Mayor Ginther was talking about the new investment that's going in the Eastland area as
Mhm.
well. So I
Mhm.
don't know if you guys have plans working in that area as well,
So
but
we have existing homes that we've done a number of years ago. One of our largest family properties is off of Kimberly up Marsh Run. So we do have the investments we've made there, and we continue to look on that east side area. We have a lot of our properties in kind of that east side, northeast corridor. And so that's been an area that we've really seen a lot of success from, and that, again, a lot of our families want to live in. So we do see ourselves continuing to invest going east and going northeast.
Ms. Evans, I really appreciate your time. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you would like to share with our audience about Homeport?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we'll be celebrating our 35th anniversary this year in October with our annual Voice and Vision celebration. That'll be on October 20th. We'll be honoring Huntington, who has been a tremendous partner. They've been at the table with us from the start, investing in programs. So again, in addition to housing, we're looking at housing stability and long-term success for our residents. So in addition to housing, we have resident services, programs at our properties. They've invested in that. They've invested in our housing advisory, and then they've supported our building and development. And they've done that. Their philanthropic and civic commitment has been across the board. So we will be honoring Huntington and Steve Steinauer and his wife Patty, as they have been those community leaders that have really championed housing and services that lift up our entire community. So excited about that, and people should buy tickets. Come see us. We're going to be doing it in person. We're really excited about the opportunity to be back in person, celebrating together. And again, we'll be celebrating our 35th year and looking at what does Homeport do for the next 35 years? What does the community need us to be doing? And where should we be showing up in spaces? Housing intersects so many aspects of our community. And so it's not limited to just where we built something, the bricks and sticks. It's what are the partnerships and relationships that allow overall family and individual success.
How can organizations become a partner with Homeport?
Yes, they can call us. Obviously, we always look at volunteers, donations, or just partnership and ideas. I think that's where a lot of our work stems from. Again, we came from an idea. We came from an idea that was shared among some community leaders that we needed to advance an organization that was going to support housing for the working people. And so, definitely, we are looking for those opportunities just to have dialogue, or where there may be intersections. We have a diverse set of partners that we work with, and are always looking for expanding that. But obviously, again, donations, volunteerism, and people contributing the resources they have. That may not always be financial. There may be other ways that people can bring their resources to the table.
Again, appreciate you taking out the time. I know you have a busy schedule, but just taking out the time to share this information with our listeners. I'm very happy for you, proud.
Thank
Again,
you.
congratulations, Miss Leah Evans, the new president and CEO of Homeport. Thank you so much for sharing this information on Eye on the Community.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Sean, for having these conversations, because really that's where we can make change happen, right? Is when we're sharing, we're in community together, and we share what we know so that someone else can be better.
Absolutely. My pleasure. You have a good one. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.